Okay, so what was done for the server in the last week? I'm gonna make a like weekly server update. I've been talking about doing that for a long time, but finally getting around to doing it. I think every Friday night I'm gonna say like, here's all the stuff that went down in the server. Here's some people that are worth meeting. Here's who you should talk to. Here's what projects are going on, whatnot, and talk about like my decision making process and how I'm thinking about things. So I've been talking to a lot of people in the server, like a lot of them, and trying to get to know them better. And I met some pretty amazing characters. Especially worth note is this guy Prophet. If you have a chance to talk to him, he said he'd be willing to be the server therapist. He has like he just been reading Nietzsche and philosophy from like 14 or something, and has talked to tons of. He has a very interesting way of improving his intelligence by like talking to smart people and just thinking a lot and like I don't think he like has formal education, but some of the smartest people, like Eric, for instance, don't. Speaking of Eric, he's working on this database browser. Well, not really a browser. I don't know. It's a visualizer slash database tool set that's fully written in Rust. He was working on that earlier this week. There are many different like micro projects that people are working on. This guy Kwee also has a very interesting project you should go check out. And a lot of people I've seen in general have like um, projects that are like kind of still solo, which is totally okay. And like a lot of people, I think iRogue also has an interesting project called Self Management Platform. A lot of these projects are really good, and I want to make more in depth videos that kind of cover them, what the person's working on, what they might be able to use help with, just to help like people collaborate more. Because that's like what I want above all else is like collaboration and actual execution of projects. That's very important. Also, worth note in the server, there's this guy No who you might have talked to. His name is at No, and he's like an animal behavior specialist, specifically spiders. But he's been on the internet for a long time. He's managed huge communities, and he has like insane social vision, and has been very helpful in me like orchestrating talking to people, and I think that's going to be very helpful as well. I was just on the phone with Reens as well, another good member to talk to. He's a very smart guy. And he was talking about how we should um, look out for member quality. And I think that's a point. There's going to be a lot of random moderation decisions because I'm taking this very seriously and I just want to like try everything until something works. Um, so like more members that are active on projects will be very nice. And obviously, a lot of people have school, and a lot of people like are I don't know. There's a few people that are kind of young and just want to fool around, and that's okay. But I think we should relegate that to kind of the outer server, because this inner server is slowly going to become like the knowledge hub, and like we're gonna filter down a little bit. So if you want to remain on the inside, you're probably on the inside. Like if you're watching this consistently, you're gonna be totally fine. There's like I just want to make kind of a project space for like specifically work on projects and stuff. But also, I get that people have like school and stuff, and like a lot of people have long term like commitments, but that doesn't mean they're like not totally great for this community. Then we also have there's so many different things going on. Tom has a bunch of projects that potentially could use work. Specifically, also the Synapse front end, which I'll start working on this week. Um, so there's a lot of good stuff there, but I want to talk about the main project that I started like at the end of the day today. The real problem right now is there's like so many parallel projects and lots of interest in things, but like we need real team leaders and coordination to actually start producing software reliably. And I don't really need to get into the whole like vision of this, I guess, but it might help some people to just see where this is going. Like if we can eventually, if we can build up the teamwork, build up the relationships to work really well together and kind of group think on certain projects, I think we can produce very high quality software products and also cross disciplinary products. A lot of people also have their personal projects that I think we could polish and then like send to eventually either monetize them or just distribute them like en masse in open source. So ideally, like long term, I want this to turn into like a software agency essentially. The reason it would be good to monetize stuff is like if we can eventually monetize stuff, and this is all hypotheticals and ifs. But keep in mind, I do not give up. Like I will literally get very depressed if I like stop trying very hard to succeed. So it's probably not going to happen. Like even if I get burnt out, I'm going to be back like a month later. And there's a long time to actualize this vision. But the essentials is like if we get all the most dedicated, the most competent, you don't even have to be the most competent. You just have to be very willing to learn, and very willing to grow. And we get like a core shell of people that are able to produce software that's monetizable. Then we can start looking towards long term. Like, can we form, like, can we have company headquarters, or can we pay people to work on things full time? Like, ideally, it becomes kind of like a talent agency in a way. And it's also very cool that it's kind of multidisciplinary. I think that's awesome. This is also like maybe it feels like a little grandurious. That's not really a word for a Discord server. Um, but I don't know, like this is no ordinary Discord server, and I don't plan on keeping it an ordinary Discord server ever. I want it to be extraordinary. And if you like feel the intelligence radiating off some of the other people in here, you're not mistaken. Um, so then there's a last project I've been kind of bouncing all over the place, but the other day I had an idea for this server project, and a lot of people are working on it and probably going to try to finish it or polish it this weekend, because I wanted to tie a bunch of people together and kind of get like a proof of concept thing going for just like how can we work together with multiple people. So basically, I was talking to all these people and I was like, I'm getting so much wisdom, man. Talking to people is the bomb. They're telling me all these different things. And obviously, there's too much of a good thing with that sometimes too. But like, it really helps me to hear advice. Like, okay, I actually are really serious about turning this into like an eight talent agency eventually. And I like talk to people about that and hear like, oh, you should take this action, you should take this action. And some of the stuff I'm doing is like on inspiration of that. Groupthink is very helpful, and it's very helpful for projects too. So I want more and more people to have access to that, especially as we learn leadership skills and as we learn the abilities to communicate between each other more effectively, and as we like get to know each other a little bit more and our strengths and weaknesses and how we can divide work and what people's like long-term motivations are, and how we can best support that. Maybe you don't want to like eventually work at this place and you already have like your career all established. Like we want to find adequate roles for everyone in this. So yeah, this project idea I had was based on that, talking to lots of people. And I thought it would be cool if I could talk to ChatGPT. So I pulled up the ChatGPT app. Sure enough, they have that like you just talk to it feature, like with voice, and it's very good. With it in your earbud, you can just like go back and forth, and it does really actually help brainstorming certain ideas. It's like kind of a weird sycophantic mirror, and you have to be aware of the psychosis, obviously. But come on, like if you got basic emotional intelligence, like you're not gonna fall for like, wow, I totally agree with you. Like, how attention and validation starved do you have to be to form an emotional relationship with an LLM? Come on, let's be real. And basically, like, I talked to that bad boy for a little bit, and it was really blowing me away. Like, um, it was just very helpful, and this was like stock ChatGPT. Like I was just talking to it, having it like Google things and give me responses back, and like shore up some of my understanding around like AI. I was like having it explain to me like the multi-layer perceptron and active inference versus the other kinds of inference, and just like stuff like that to shore up my understanding. And having that technical conversation partner that's just tireless in the background, like it's like a very good podcast. When I walk to and from school, I'm just like asking it question about all this like architecture stuff, so I feel like I understand it better. Also asking it a lot about Carl Jung and the archetypes and behavioralism and stuff. So it was useful to me, but I thought, fuck, all my personal data going right to OpenAI, and it's like remembering stuff now too. So what I want to do is build an offline version of that. And so on Friday or on Thursday, I think, I got on a call, explained that to some people. It was remarkable how like willing to help people are, and how like competent they are, and how good at executing things they are. And we have to work on dividing up the work a lot more, but essentially like we got a working iOS app bootloaded on this like very quickly within like 2 days. Someone built the front end, we got the back end. The vibe coding tools are getting really insane, like it or not, but we had some pretty competent this one guy, Alex Sokol, also great guy to talk to. He has a very cool project called Friendly, that I have to actually go give him feedback on after this. But more people should connect with that guy and give him feedback. He's a very smart developer. he was kind of walking us through that iOS setup a little bit, along with a few other people in a stage call. And so that's all wired up. I can give you a basic like architecture diagram because then we got Tuna Chip, another guy you should talk to because he's really smart on design theory. He's given me a couple great things to think about, and also Eric a couple great things to think about. That was also a highlight of the week. I remember hopping on a call with those two, and yeah, Tuna Chip is kind of taking the lead on like the back end infrastructure here for this AI. He has a pretty advanced self-updating abstract syntax tree idea for LLM memory, which I think is really cool. Our architecture is basically simple. We've got like a front end that goes through a speech to text layer, and then we have kind of middleware that just glues everything together, and then we have Tuna Chip's like LLM architecture on the back end. I'm seriously lagging. Okay, so yeah, essentially, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but that's the app showcase. That's kind of the general idea, and we're going to keep expanding on it, keep adding tool calls. And if you want to know more about how it's going to remember personal information, there's a bunch of cool security layers that TunaChip has implemented. So, yeah, go talk to him. He's a good guy to talk to. Those are basically the main projects that are going down, but there's so much work to do on the social front and behavior front, and every day I'm learning a ton about that. And I'm going to talk to lots of different people. And you should do the same, honestly. If you're listening to this, um, just like think about how cool this opportunity is. You're with like a bunch of visionary people that are very skilled and very bright and want to go far. Like, go make some serious long term friends because these people will become like, if they keep improving like this and keep self-actualizing, your social circle is going to be all professors and all just like cracked entrepreneurs and whatever. It's just going to be like very advantageous to make long-term friendships here, especially like if you're really serious about these projects. You're going to be like one of the founding engineers. Like, you're going to be the first people that get employed by this, which, yeah, obviously offering like future equity is like kind of cringe move, but um, that is my long-term goal for it. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, Troy is doing a graduate lecture on machine learning starting this Saturday, and I'm going to be doing real analysis homework. I might be able to make it, but also that homework is due at night, and it's fucking real analysis. It's really hard. And yeah, so I guess the main news point there is that there's going to be some lectures as well. I think Johnny, another guy to look out for, spelled with a D and a Z though. Um, is also interested in doing some lectures, and we got this guy Dean as well, who I also met this week. I met a lot of people more closely, who's like just insanely cracked. All these people are at like really good schools too, like ETH Zurich. I know Philip and a few other people are there. We have a couple MIT people, a couple Stanford people, which is really cool. Not that your school really determines your intelligence, I don't think, because there are also some dropouts that are really smart, or state school kids who are really smart. Um, and basically, yeah, that's the situation. Oh, who's calling me? Oh, it's my Greek roommate Jake. Yo.